Hey, hi Bobs, what is up to all the connects out there? Hi Bobs. I just wanted to get on here and talk about pretty much, do you play with toys? Because I do. Nah, I'm kidding, but like I do play with toys, but not in the way that you may be thinking, but some of you may know exactly what I'm talking about. But just to get right into this video, I wanted to talk about what are spiritual toys, what are spiritual totems, and tools that you can use to tap into your energy, to tap into your inner magic, to tap into your spirit, and to let that spirit shine and let that spirit flow throughout your life and throughout your reality. Just like you were when you were a child, or maybe you weren't when you were a child, and that inner child that's always been there within you. So, how about I said that? I'm gonna get into that right now. Boom. So this is one of my spiritual totems and protective devices. So don't mess with it. But yeah. So look, I wanted to show you this thing right here. Boom. Wanted to show you a little synchronicity that I had with this. You see that? That's a high vibing thing, right? Look, he's saying high vibes, right? But it also says rub my belly for good luck. I mean that good luck, tap into the magic if you know what the real luck is, because it's not really like some luck. It's really just like your own magnetism and your own spiritual connection and stuff. But you see how it looks very similar to this, right? It's like almost the exact same thing. Look, you see that? It's just he doesn't have. Look, it's right there. Boom, right? So that was a synchronicity that I had with this. Now, why did I just show you that? So I showed you that because when you start to tap into your inner magic, which really is just your spirit, because a lot of people, they have this negative connotation with magic and stuff like that. But what if I just told you that magic was just your own imagination? What if I told you that magic was just your spirit? Because it's like there's people out there that they want to believe in God, they want to believe in there being a source, they want to believe in there being a creator, but they don't want to see that that creator is part of them, or that they are part of the creator, that the creator can flow through them. And you see, like I got this like plant right here, so I'm biased to the plant, but people don't want to see the magic within that. Then some people, they say, yeah, God is miraculous and mysterious and stuff like that, and it is. Spirit is miraculous, spirit is mysterious, and when you tap into the spirit that's within you, that is also within me, and that is within everybody who has a spirit, we are all magical, we all have that energy inside of us. So it's like, why wouldn't you use yourself for who you truly are? It's like you can't give yourself excuses, you can't give yourself these lies and illusions as to why you're not being who you truly are inside yourself. It's like, just like I said, you gotta tap into that childlike state that's already inside of you. And what is that childlike state? That is your spirit, that is your imagination, that is your exploration, that is your curiosity, that is your ability to learn and develop. That's your true intelligence, but not necessarily the immature childlike state that some kids may be in tune with, or that you may have inside of you right now. But the spiritual childlike state is what I'm talking about. But just to get it right into how this synchronicity is a very perfect way for me to explain to you why this is that why I added this into the video. So I had a dream when I was a kid about this thing. Well, not necessarily this. I had a dream about this in my dream, but it was actually golden. But it syncs up with this because that's golden, right? So I had a dream about that, and it popped up to me in the dream, and then I actually had that shirt at that time, and I wrote down that dream. It was a very vivid dream, and it was a very like mysterious type dream as well. So I was like, okay, I gotta remember this, and I wrote it down and stuff. And it was like, I think I was around like 12 years old, maybe. I don't know how old I was, but I was. It was pretty. It was a long time ago. It was pretty long time ago. But eventually I came further along in my path, and then I actually got this as a gift. My mom gave this to me, so high vibes, my gratitude if she's ever watching this. But yeah, so I got this specific totem, this tool, and it represents a lot of things to me. And like I already said, like the high vibes and stuff, but it shows me a certain aspect of myself, but it always reminds me of that mysterious, magical aspect of reality, and that aspect of that my spiritual connection. Because when I actually got this, it was a perfect sync for like that time. And my brother actually got one very similar to another one that I have. Some of you may have seen in my other videos if you were paying attention to stuff, but it was a very good sync for me at that time to be grateful and to put my blessings above me, and like be grateful for my blessings, and be grateful for, even if I don't have anything, if the only thing I have is that spiritual connection, that's all I need to do, and put that above everything else. You know what I'm saying? So like, wanted to just talk about that, is how there's one, like I said, there's different things that spirit can do to bring these tools to you. So that's what I was gonna say about like the reason why I showed you the synchronicity with that. So I'm gonna put that right there for now. Whoops. But spirit will sometimes bring certain tools for you, but there's other times where you're gonna have to go seek out a tool as well. So that's some ways that you can find these different tools. That's some ways that you can find your spiritual toys, I guess you can call it. But when it comes to actually using these spiritual tools, and you putting your conscious intentions, and you playing with them and enjoying the time that you're having with them and using them, you can use them with intentions of what they mean for you. They can just have a simple symbolic meaning when it comes to you tapping into your own mind, right? So, like I said, this one can represent to me gratitude, and putting my blessings above, like putting them above like everything else, putting them above my ego, and putting them above my complaints and all that stuff, and just being grateful. So that can specifically represent that to you. And you may have a different, like you may have like a poster or something like this, or like these things over here. Shout out to brother Nate. If you're watching this, check out I think innertreeart.com. I'm pretty sure he still has the website, but if not, you can check him out on Instagram as well. He has some really high vibing art, so high vibes to that. But yeah, so you can tap into the symbolic nature of those things. You can tap into what they represent to you. You may have a picture of a heart on the wall. Like I have this thing over here. It's like a heart right here, and then right there it says love. It might be backwards for you, I don't know, but like it says love. And that could just be as simple as that. It says love on the wall, and you put that up on the wall, and you see it every day, and you remind yourself, be in tune with the love, be in tune with the heart, be in tune with the connection and the balance and stuff like that. And that can be as it can be as simple as that. But the more you connect it within your subconscious mind, the more you connect with the tool. The more you connect with the totem, the more you connect with the toy, or whatever you want to call it, the more you connect with it, the more it's going to actually make changes in your life. You're going to see how the more energy you put into it, the more attention you give it, the more energy you get out of it, and the more it actually affects your life, and the more it actually may manifest certain things in your life as well. Because not only will it affect your subconscious, it'll affect your conscious. So you'll make certain conscious decisions based off of those things, and it'll affect you subconsciously. It'll change your magnetism. It'll change your magic. Because once it starts to tap into your imagination, then it'll tap into the imagination of the reality, the imagination type energy in the reality, the mental energy of the reality, and it'll affect those grids, and it'll ripple out, and that type of energy will reflect back. So that gets pretty deep. There's a lot more information that you can learn about this on if you get the Beginner Spiritual Warrior video workshop by Astro Coulson. I learned so much deep in spiritual information of not only how to use some of these spiritual tools, but also how to protect yourself. So definitely check that out, because this is just a beginner's level of what you can do, and how to tap into your spiritual toys, and to tap into the childlike state with it, and to see the inner magic that you have, which I'm going to be getting into that in one sec. But you can go a lot deeper within it. You can use it for protection, because you can, like, it's just like a dream catcher. A lot of dream catchers have been used for thousands of years for protection in the dreams, for protection in the non-physical realms. But people are too scared to tap into another totem, like let's say they have a dragon or something like that. They're too scared to do that, because they may think that it's evil or something like that. But you may have to know how to tap into it. You have to know the intentions behind it. And Astro Sourcing gets into a lot of information, very useful information, of not only how to tap into it, but all of the different types of things that surround it. So check out the Beginner Spiritual Warrior video workshop at reprogramthematrix.com in the RTM Store. I'm gonna put a link in the link in the description. So go ahead down there, check that out, and how about to that. But just wanted to talk about the inner magic, and why you should not be scared of your inner magic. I already said that, like the thing about how spirit is already within you, and you have that magic already inside of you, but you have to tap into that childlike state with the magic as well. It's like when you're a kid, you explore your imagination, you explore, and you're curious of the things that you're trying to learn, and the abilities that you have. It's like when you're a child, like for example, when you see a dog growing up, or a cat growing up, or a human growing up, you see how they're all learning to use their body. They're learning to use their mind, right? So you have to learn to use the abilities that you already have. Now, what is the abilities that you have beyond just the physical? You have your mental capacity, you have your mental abilities, but you also have natural spiritual abilities that most people aren't even aware of. So once you start to tap into that, that's when you're going to start to see that inner magic shine. But you also need to recognize that there are different people who know how to do that, and they tap into negative intentions behind it. But when you tap into that true childlike state, not the manipulated childlike state, it's like a lot of people have probably heard about like how how like slavery and stuff like that was something that was or racism and stuff like that was dealing with slavery, and how they viewed slaves in that dark time in our history, how that was a program that they introduced to the kids who were programmed to do that. So it's like you in your true natural childlike state have a balance within yourself, but you have to recognize that is also a program part of your childhood. There's a program part of your childlike state that you need to learn how to tap into, which can even deal with tapping back into your subconscious, cleansing and healing yourself, and going through a lot of deep spiritual healing and stuff like that. But that takes a process, and it takes conscious energy and attention to put into that. But you have to know why you want it. You have to know the observer that you have always been at all times, and you always will be, that is affected by it, and that is dealing with that type of energy within the subconscious or within your conscious, whatever it may be. But tap into that childlike state, because when you start to tap into that, you're gonna see that you have the balance. You're gonna have it's like the tree. It needs to grow. It needs that balanced energy. It needs that tension, and it needs that light. It needs the light and the darkness. It needs the fire and the water. It needs both. So you have to have that balance within your childlike state as well. You cannot be scared to tap into your inner magic, and you cannot be scared to tap into your protection as well, because it's like, why would you be scared to defend yourself? It's like, if you were in a physical situation where you needed to defend yourself, there's also non-physical situations where you need to defend yourself. But if you can't even see that there is the non-physical, how are you going to defend yourself in the non-physical? How are you going to even be able to choose and make decisions to do like that within the non-physical if you don't even believe that it exists? So pretty much you have to just get out of beliefs and disbeliefs so that you can get into the awareness of actually knowing. Because if you're believing, that means you're caught up in something that's a perception rather than the one who's actually seeing. So be the observer, tap into this, and if start by using some of these things. Like I said, you could just use the simple thing like I have here with this, and tap into the symbolic nature of it, what it may mean to you. But you can also tap into the non-physical aspects of it. But like I said, check out the Beginner Spiritual Warrior video workshop. I'll put the link in the description to the website, and also connect with other people, spiritual people out there who are in tune with that spiritual, like-minded energy and that spiritual childlike state. So, do you have spiritual toys? I know I do. So turn up, and that's what I was gonna say as well. It's like when you're a child. This is just like the last part of the video, but when you're a child, it's like when you're playing with two different toys, a lot of the times you create two different characters. You're like, okay, this is the bad guy, this is the good guy, right? You know how they talk about like the devil and the angel or whatever on like the shoulders, like whatever. Those are the two sides that you work with within your imagination. Like when you're a kid, you're like, oh, this guy's beating up this guy. It's like you have to tap into your own dark side to override your own dark side, or your dark side is going to override you, or somebody else's dark side is going to override you. It's like if you ever played a chess game, if you don't understand the mind of your opponent, if you don't understand how to tap into your dark imagination and override your dark imagination, then you're not going to be able to override your opponent. And what I mean by dark imagination isn't only like the sense of like the non-physical, but I mean like you have to understand your ego. You have to observe your mind in order to override the mind of the opponent, because the opponent isn't really you, it's your ego. Your opponent isn't necessarily somebody else, it's your ego, because once you override your ego, then you can override the ego on the outside, and you can bring the outside in tune with the inside, have the peace in, and then the peace will flow without. So this is a pretty long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some hot vibing information that you're going to apply, and let's keep turning up. High vibes.